It is with very great pleasure that I introduce Maggie Hughes and her public image team.
Good morning. Thank you, Mary. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the public image session this morning. Public image is everything we do, say, and how we look. This is so important for your club, and I think especially following Peter's presentation on membership. But as Peter said, you're not on your own. We have a great team who are on hand to help you with all things public image. So let me first of all introduce you to the team. And Ian has got the slide up there. Thank you, Ian. We have Andrew Pippin, who is a member of Hentley's Rotary, and he looks after our district social media and YouTube channel. Maggie Abbott is a member of Swansea Rotary and looks after the district Twitter and Instagram accounts. But as an ex-journalist, she also compiles our press releases and liaises with the news media. Maggie is also one of the spokespersons for our district on crisis management. Rob Lloyd is a member of Llanelli Rotary and is our district public relations officer. Rob is our advisor and spokesman for the district, especially in his role as another member of our crisis management team. Ian Hughes, who you've seen a lot of this morning, is another member from Swansea Rotary and is our IT officer and website administrator, leading a team comprising of Bob Wilson, Steve Jenkins, Robin Pitcher and John Hackett. Together with Andrew Pippin, they are known as our dream team for all things IT, not just in our district, but worldwide. Ray Bevan is a member of Pont Llanfraith Rotary and is a new addition to our team for 2023-24. So we are really looking forward to Ray's input next year. Plus, of course, you have me, okay? I know I have said this at previous sessions, but I make no apology for repeating. I appreciate that we have members on this call today who do not have their own social media accounts. Please do not be put off when we're talking about the various social media platforms, because although you may not have your own personal account, you still can log on to your club and district accounts to check information. So please think Rotary and not personal with this. During our short session this morning, we will be covering as many topics as the time allows, and I'm delighted that our first speaker is Phil Dyer. Phil is the Public Image Specialist Advisor for Rotary GB&I and is also a member of the Rotary GB&I board. Unfortunately, as he is so much in demand, he is presenting at another district assembly this morning, so he's not able to be with us, but wanted to be part of our presentation, so has created this short video for us. So Ian, could you please show the Phil's video? Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for that warm introduction. I am delighted to be here today, and I will be talking about the Rotary Power Brand. I'm a big ambassador for the brand when used consistently and effectively. I think it is amazing. But first of all, my name is Phil Dyer, and I am a Public Image Specialist Advisor, Team Lead, quite a mouthful, for Rotary Great Britain and Ireland, and I also sit on the inaugural board, which started in July last year. As I said, we are part of a global organisation of 1.4 million Rotary members, and when we use our brand correctly and consistently, we will have extended and expanded our reach. As a global organisation, we have a vision statement, and that vision statement is: together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities and in ourselves. And the four most important words on that particular slide as part of our vision statement are: together people create change. As I said, we're part of an organisation of 1.4 million members, and we have an action plan for our efforts and our activities in our communities, whether they are local or further afield. The action plan comes with 4 pillars: increase our impact, enhance participant engagement, expand our reach, and increase our ability to adapt. This could have been custom built for Rotary's public image, and I'm going to tell you why. Increasing our impact is all about using the brand correctly. The correct use of the brand makes us look like we are part of that 1.4 million member organisation. Enhancing participant engagement, it means that everyone's participation is critical to the success of the projects that we put on. Everyone can be involved with public image and make us look as good as possible when we are out in the public light. After all, we are people of action. Expanding our reach is all about telling our Rotary stories, and we are going to learn more about that from Andrew later on this morning. Increasing our ability to adapt. Well, we've just come out of 2 years of COVID where we've all had to learn to be television producers and Zoom experts, so we are able to adapt. But using video and social media to engage is critical for the success of our projects going forward. After all, everything that we do in our communities is a presentation. Remember that. Everything is a presentation, and people are looking at us, and when we wear our Rotary badge, as I am today, people see us for what we are, and we want them to see us as vibrant, exciting, interesting, engaging, and above all, people of action in our communities. Often there is a gap between perception and reality, and that is a bridge that we must try and close. We live in a visual world, and screens are part of our everyday life. Smartphones, iPads, TVs, computers are everywhere. People buy with their eyes, and colour-corrected high-definition images can be beamed or clicked or posted from Liverpool to Lima in a matter of seconds. As I've said, we're part of a global organisation, and we need to respect the brand and our organisation. Social media is part of the very fabric of our society, and we need to embrace it. Whether you love it or loathe it, it is here to stay, and we need to make use of it to make sure that the projects that we want to put on meet with the maximum impact in the communities that we operate. It's all about building our brand. We have a great brand with global reach, and you don't see other brands in the world with global reach using the wrong branding. Coca-Cola, Nike, McDonald's, Apple, Oxfam, and lastly the Scouts. Even the Scouts write the word Scouts underneath their trefoil. For years they used to use the trefoil by itself, but now they write the word Scouts on, so no one is under any illusion about how to use their brand. People think that the Rotary brand is hard to use, and it is. It comes in 3 volumes, volume 1, 2 and 3 here. Now I'm only kidding. That changed a long time ago. We have one piece of paper now which is available on the Brand Centre, and it's called Brand Guidelines at a Glance. It's a 1-page document, 2 sides, and it tells you everything you need to know as a Rotarian about how to use our brand, which is, of course, this. This is our master brand, or as we call it in public image circles, the master brand signature. Comes in a couple of flavours, and this one is the simplified version. You'll notice that the words Rotary International are removed from the wheel. When you use it as a club, you write your club name underneath or above the word Rotary, and you can download your logo completely free, completely easily, and significantly easier than right-clicking on Google from the Brand Centre. Of course, you can use the Mark of Excellence anytime you want, but you should always use that when you're using your club logo. We have an internal theme, as we do every year, and in 2023-24 the theme is Create Hope in the World. Gordon McAnally tells a very personal story about his hope for Rotary in the coming year. But remember that this is an internal theme and shouldn't be used externally. This particular logo should be used as a call to action for our work as Rotarians in our communities and not necessarily seen by the people in our communities. It is now, I can reveal, 10 years since this logo changed. It says 9 years there, but it's actually 10 years now, and we should not be using this logo anymore. Of course, Rotary bells, Rotary gazebos and larger items are perfectly acceptable, but if you're posting on social media or printing banners or other livery, then you need to use the new master brand signature. Remember, when you buy a new Ford car, you get a new Ford badge. You can't buy a new Ford car with the old Ford badge. So our brand is here, and this is what we should be using. Excuse me. The next part of the presentation is normally the power of storytelling, but I believe Andrew from your public image team will be talking about that later. So let me introduce you to the public image team for Rotary Great Britain and Ireland. And here is the team. We have Maggie Hughes, past district governor, highlighted there wearing a beautiful pink scarf. She is your public image SAT team member for this particular cluster, along with the other members of the team, myself in the top left, Dave King, the Rotary editor, and of course we have access to the communications team in Ulster, James, Martin and George. The team are split up into clusters. There's a new word there for you to be familiar with, and you are part of Southern Wales and the South West. And Maggie looks after public image for you there. So bringing my very short presentation to a conclusion, I am a massive advocate of using as a starting block public image. With great, phenomenal, exciting, vibrant public image brings about great membership opportunities and dividends, and more members means more service and more foundation giving. Phenomenal public image brings about membership opportunities, which brings about greater foundation and service giving. It is that simple. So on to the takeaways for this presentation. As with all good presentations, number one is use our brand and use it consistently. You will hear that word a lot in this summing up session. Use it consistently. It is easy to do from the brand sensor. Use social media, make sure your platforms are up to date and that you are posting regularly. It is a free service generally. You do not need to pay to boost your posts. Engaging, exciting posts with credible photographs will go a long way to working with your community and ensuring that you tell your Rotary story with the post that you are putting out. And third, be consistent. Consistency is key to everything that we do in public image. Make sure you use the correct brand and use social media. My name is Phil Dyer. It has been a delight to be here with you today.
Thanks very much to Phil for taking the time to make that recording for us. And I have no doubt we all know how important it is that we use the correct branding to give a consistent message. And we keep saying consistent message to the public. As a team, we are passionate about promoting Rotary correctly. So please understand that if you want us to promote your events, we won't share if your promotional posters are incorrectly branded. So please work with us on this. And if you need any help, we are here to do it for you. Let me now hand you over to Maggie Abbott, who's going to talk to you about the Brand Centre.
Good morning, everybody. If I could have the first slide, Ian, please. Isn't it great that Phil reiterated what I've been saying for the last 10 years? You know that we have a brand. It's no longer a new brand. So congratulations to our district, because a number of you are using this brand. And what I'm going to do is just take you very quickly for a whistle-top tour of how to create your, sorry, there's background noise going on, take you for a whistle-top tour of how to access the brand and the logo, etc. So if we could have the next slide, please. Now, this is the branding center, and you can get to this via My Rotary. Now, I find the easiest way to go to My Rotary actually is just Google My Rotary, click on it, and I'm already signed up. I'm disappointed to see a lot of members are not signed up to it because it's so easy to do. So sign up to it if you haven't already, and log on if you are signed up. And then if you look on the bottom right there, under you can find that menu under Member Center or News and Media. There is the Brand Center, and excuse the American spelling, but that is how it works. It is part of Rotary International because, as Phil says, we are part of an international global brand. Next slide, please. So here we are, we're on the Branding Center now, and there it asks you at the bottom, what would you like to do today? And there's a drop-down menu there. One of the things that you can download is the one-sheet branding guidelines from that Branding Center. That's very, very useful to have handy on your computer or the printout, and to give to printers if you're using outside printing. But what I'm going to do from now on is to select the choose your own logo, create your own, which is on that drop-down menu. If you could have the next slide, please, in. So there we are. There's all the different logos that you can choose, and you can also, it also tells you about your logos at a glance, brand guidelines, etc. Next slide, please. So you can download your logo template for Interact, for Rotaract, but we're going to select it for our Rotary Club. Next slide, please. So when you click on that, that takes you to this particular page, and all you have to do is press that little button on the bottom with the word Create. Next slide, please. And here we are. Basically, on the left-hand side, it shows you what arrangements you can have for your logo. Do you want it in two colors, the blue and the yellow? Do you want it all black? Do you want it all blue? Where do you want the wording to go? Do you want it to go above the Rotary? Do you want it to go below the Rotary? So I've created all black here with Rotary and my club name, Swansea. Next slide, please. Once you've done that, you can then download it. Now, to download the file, you just need to decide whether you want a PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG. Now, I tend to prefer the PNG because it's the PNG. I did look up what it meant, but I've forgotten already. But we all know it's PNG. Because I find that's the easiest for incorporating into anything, because you don't have any block or any band around it, and you can adjust the size. And I'll demonstrate that later. Can you have the next one, please? So this is another one that you can have, which I think is a very useful one to have, and that's the all white logo, or the reverse logo, the one that you can use on a colored background. And again, you know, you can create it above or below. The word can be above or below. Next slide, please. So that's how I would use it. I'm sorry, this does look a little bit grainy, I know, but it's taken from a screenshot. This is a Canva piece I'm working on at the moment that we're going to use for our group, our Rotary Swansea partnership. And so there we are. That's what it looks like as a reverse. It looks very attractive with the other white on color text. So very useful logo to have. So really, I think it's worth downloading a whole set or in each color. Next slide, please. And there we are. There's the different colors you can have. You can have the blue, you can have black, or you can have the 2-color logo. Now, some people say about the yellow in the 2-color logo, but as Phil showed you, there are other logos, McDonald's, for example, Subway, that use yellow, and it works very effectively. If you're still using the old logo, and I don't think there are many clubs now, but it just looks so old-fashioned when we're working with, you know, as Phil says, an international global brand. We should all be using the same. So moving on to the next slide, I'm just going to take you around some of the resources that you can also get, not just from the Brand Centre, but from the Rotary GB&I site. And that's the Rotary GB&I branding resources. Again, there's a little dashboard of things that you can get there. For example, if the youth competitions, if you're running a youth competition, you could get the right leaflets, you can get the right posters. There's no need to create your own because you have got all the resources there that you need. But what I'm going to do is take you to the online shop, which is on the left-hand side. And again, you have to register again for this, for the online shop, but I found it very, very useful for things like, for example, we had a Freshers' Fair in Bridgend last year, where we were promoting Rotaract, and I was able to get all the Rotaract brochures and leaflets from that online shop. Next slide, please. So these are some of the brochures that you can get. Now, I know that you have, we've all been very lucky to have a set of these as part of the membership drive. But if you need more, this is where you can go to get them. So you can get the posters or flyers. You can get the little postcards, which I'll just remind you that we have in a moment. You can get banners, and you can get fantastic little canvas bags and lanyards. I'm not quite sure where Phil got that jacket from that he was wearing in his previous, in his presentation before mine, but it just goes to show what there is available and how well you can use this brand. Last but not least, well, as I say, this is the last one. These are the postcards, which I know a lot of you have because they were distributed, and they are so useful to hand out to people. You know, keep some with you and hand them out to people. They're very, very useful resource to have. If you have any questions afterwards about how to download your logo, please feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to talk you through it again. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Maggie. That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Now I'd like to take a very, very quick look at copyright. When we're talking about images and videos, etc., it can be a bit of a minefield. Unfortunately, I don't have time during this session to go into any detail, but in the resources sheet I send out, there will be a link to a very comprehensive video on copyright and several websites where you can download copy-free images for photographs, illustrations, music, and videos. And I really hope you will take time to watch the video and check out those websites. Over the past few years, we've spoken to you about the impact of social media, and it is really wonderful to see so many of you now using Facebook effectively. But as ever, we can always improve. So here is another short video from Andrew Pippin about storytelling through social media.
Hello, and thank you for that introduction. Once again, I am in a field selling brownies somewhere. In fact, I think today I am at Bristol Foodies, or should I say on Saturday I'm in Bristol Foodies. Today I'm sat in my office at home. Now, I've taken a break from my trademarks, and I'm going to talk to you about social media and generally telling stories on social media, which is going to be the theme for today. I've just done a little bit of research as usual, just to update where we are in 2023, because every year it changes changes slightly. And basically, we're still looking at shorter posts. So if you have long paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs at a time, and that sort of thing, people aren't going to read it all. You're far less likely to get a click through, far less likely to get people to the end of the post, basically. Although, if you feel like you do have a lot to say, break it up into paragraphs. A huge chunk of writing, no one is going to read that. It's a lovely idea, and I know you're telling your story, but no one is going to read it. Break it up into paragraphs. If there is a link that you want them to click on to go and do something else, whether it's register for something or donate for something or buy a ticket, put that link at the beginning, put it again in the middle, and put it again at the end. So it does mean that if they get bored reading what you've written, then at least they can click the link wherever they happen to be when they decide to stop reading. So do that. But however, if you look at buffer.com at the moment, which is where I've got a lot of the research from, in fact, it's posts which are 120 characters maximum actually get the most interest and the best click-through rates. Okay, so if you've got links in order to get them to go and do something else or to contact you, a nice short message. Telling stories through Facebook is something that's a little bit newer. It's been going on for about a year or so now, but it's certainly worth talking about. It means that you break up stories into 3 is a good number. So for example, you might do 3 posts about event. The first one is the save a date. The second one is to actually say, look, we're at the event, isn't it going well? And the third one is the impact of the event. Now, we don't mean people stood in a line handing a check over. We mean the active impact. So it might say that you raised £400. It might say that you raised £10,000. But also, where is that money going? What impact is it going to have? Tell us about it. As has been said here today already, we are a worldwide brand. So if we're making a difference in other countries, tell us about it. So that third one is all about impact. There are a couple of different ways you could do this. For example, what you could do is the first one could be a nice simple save a date. You might put a picture of last year's event, or you might put a generic picture about Rotary on there and just tell people when the date is and what it is that's going to happen. Then what you might do is that for the actual occurrence of it, is that you could create a Facebook photo album. Now, if you create a Facebook photo album, it's nice and easy. You find photos in the pages menus, and you create a new album, give it a title for what the album is. It'll ask you for when it happened and where it happened, and post pictures into that album, and that will share that to your timeline and to your followers' timelines as the event is going on. It will share it every time you add photos. So I'm not saying be annoying and do it 10 times on the one day, but it does mean that if you take some really good photos, do it immediately on the day. And then once you've ciphered through the hundreds of photos that you took and you've got a few more to talk about, add those to them a day or so later. And therefore that album will actually get shared again onto the timeline, which is really helpful because it means you're not really repeating the post. It's just more pictures of a lovely event. And then, of course, you do a third one, which is about your impact. Now, you can either utilize your Facebook album and put some pictures on about the impact, and that gets reshared, or you create a new post where you actually talk about how the good work that the event did. Another thing you can do is that once you've done your save a date and you've done your pretty images like that sort of thing to tell people when it's going to happen and all the details, then what you could do is on the day you could actually go live. So you could actually click go live. And now go live videos, it used to be just go on, present it, pretend you're a TV presenter and tell people about it and it'll get people's interest. Actually now, to get the most interest after the event more than anything else, even a go live or a short video needs to have a structure. So what you want to think about is a 3-act structure. You set it up. There is a confrontation or a twist of some kind, and then there is a resolution or a climax. So, for example, the setup might be a brief introduction of, look, here we are at the village fete. Isn't it wonderful? Look at all of these people that are here, and here is the Rotary stand. Once you get to the Rotary stand, you might speak to people about Rotary, and you might do a little question answer session, maybe one with a member, and say, what does Rotary mean to you? And then you might talk about, and what are you doing here today? What are we doing here today as Rotary? And what impact is that going to have? And then what you might do borrowing a page out of Abergavenny's book, is that you might ask members of the public and say, so what do you think about Rotary? And then you can have that discussion again on camera with them, and it's all going out live, and that'll ping all the people who are following your page as well. So that can be a really good thing. And then the climax or the resolution might be to actually see what's going on the stall. So hopefully if you're at a fete or you're at something like that, then it might be to it might be, if you're doing a raffle, it might be to show all the prizes. If you're actually doing events and someone wins a prize on the spot because it's a tombola or something, then you might have someone celebrating because they've won something. Or it might just be to follow that person's journey from buying the ticket to putting their hand in the tombola to winning the bottle of shampoo. And then you either need to make it funny because it's the booby prize, or you need to make it kind of a great celebratory event because they won something that's worth more than the pound they paid the ticket for. So that can be a good way of doing it, you know, that kind of question and answers, and speak to the people that you're actually working with. The other thing you could do is to use this storytelling process just to kind of introduce people to Rotary. So, for example, you might do a Rotary advert that is an introduction to Rotary. Then you might do another advert following that a day or so later, which might be an actual article about an event or something that you've been doing with Rotary. And then finally, you might put a third post out, which is a call to action, which is whether get in touch to find more information, or you know, the impact of the things that Rotary does. This is how you join, or this is where our event is going to happen. So it doesn't have to be centered around an event. Very quickly, because it was only supposed to be 7 minutes long and I'm on 7 minutes 15. Newer forms now of social media, you can duplicate all of this onto Instagram. It's a very video heavy format now, with reels and with stories and everything like that. Get everything shared onto the stories. If you do a video, share it onto Instagram as well. If you do a picture post on Facebook, share it onto Instagram as well. And frankly, if you are doing videos and you're playing that game and you've got a younger friend who might be interested in helping you, because even I'm a bit lost in it, you know, the new formats now, you got TikTok. I'm not saying go into the dark world of TikTok, but it is a video sharing format. And therefore, if you are producing videos, then frankly, you may as well be sharing them on every format you can. But if you're going to do that, good luck, and may the odds ever be in your favour. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again for Andrew's expert advice, and please keep sharing the stories with us, as this enables us to share your posts to an even bigger audience. As we come to the end of this session, as previously mentioned, I will send you a resource sheet with links to the information you need to ensure you have everything at hand to produce great public image for your clubs. But again, like Peter, please help me by making sure you update the DMX with the name and contact details of either your public image lead or the person who I can keep in touch with to ensure your club receives any public image updates. Otherwise, your poor secretary will be receiving everything. Another resource you have is the Rotary GB&I newsletter, which comes out each month and has lots of information and tips for you in the public image section. As well as this, every 2 months, we hold a 1-hour online public image drop-in session with Phil Dyer and his team, where you can discuss any of your queries with Phil about public image and pick up lots of tips from other PI leads and other clubs and districts. The next public image drop-in session will be Wednesday, the 14th of June at 7 p.m. and the link will be in the Rotary GB&I newsletter. But thank you very much for your attention this morning. Thank you.